Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry about that.
No
Last
worries.
call went a little too long.
This is all good.
Guys, I look forward to these calls every week.
I know.
It's the best.
This part.
I even started keeping a little tab on like little things we can talk about, like on the side.
Yeah.
I spoke to a CPA yesterday that our friend Gray recommended, and he worked for the IRS for 7 years, and he said next Friday he could probably hop on our podcast for us to interview. I mean, getting somebody like that with the COVID PPP stuff, I thought that would be super interesting.
Oh yeah,
provide a lot of value.
And then I would love for this podcast to be about Thinkitation. Mm-hmm. Justin, have you heard that before? Thinkitation?
Thinkitation?
So Tom Bilyeu brings this up a lot because it's meditation, but rather than as thoughts come to you, you go immediately back to your breath, right? And like objectifying the thoughts. When a really good thought comes to you, you run with it, right? And so it's kind of like Edison used to do this. We touched this briefly before, but you take a weight tied to your hand, and then you would fall asleep in a chair and let it go and drop it and wake back up and write down whatever came to his mind.
Mm.
It's brilliant because what you're really doing, Ray Dalio even talks about this in his book. I just touched it in his book, where what you're really doing is you're taking your subconscious and conscious mind and opening up the gateway to where you can get ideas from your subconscious, right? And dude, I've been doing this for like the last week or two, and the ideas that are coming to me are so amazing. How about this idea that came to me while I was Thinkitation today? For our podcast, something that would be super interesting is we just get a Tesla employee on here to talk about what it's like on the line right now, right? With Elon being, come arrest me. How interesting. People would watch that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Dude, I got a lot of other ideas and I've been baking just from this. And it always comes when I start doing meditating, but then I run with this idea. Tom Bilyeu does it all the time. And I sent Corey an interview.
I watched that one.
With the CEO of Mind Valley. Looks really interesting. Mm-hmm. He talks about this as well. But really just opening up that gateway. It's like you're opening up a gateway to, not to be too tacky, to another dimension, right? Because where are these thoughts coming from? We don't know. It's like they're just
unlocking that subconscious.
They just surface. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were referring to those thoughts and ideas coming from outer space, which is very interesting.
From somewhere else. Yeah.
Outside from some outside space into your mind. And they were saying 80% of their best ideas that's where they're getting them from.
Do you have any thoughts on this, Justin? Talk to me about this.
I heard of the holding the steel ball while taking a little nap, and then
as soon as it drops.
Yeah, I've never actually done it, but that would be really a fun experiment to try.
You don't even have to do that. Really meditating does the same thing, right? Because you're really just getting on the verge of theta state. So your brain waves are just accessing something else, and then you're just pulling information out of it.
And then do you immediately snap out of that meditation to write it down?
So sort of. Tom was saying that he puts a laptop on his lap, and then once he gets to that point and he gets the idea, he maintains the focus on the breath work while fleshing out the idea on the laptop. So he's still meditating, just not as, it's just this in-between state where he's still very focused on the breath to maintain that state of mind.
It takes some control.
Flesh it out.
I really have that.
So yeah.
It does. It's hard. It's actually kind of difficult because when I'm doing this and I have an idea and I start running with it, I'll run with it for a minute and a half before I realize, whoa, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. You really got to focus, stay focused the whole time. Joe Rogan talked about, go ahead.
Ideas.
Just ideas about dude, it's literally anything that surfaces from your subconscious. It's all over the place, with work, with relationships, with, just ideas that surface. And I would never have them if I wasn't really relaxing and opening up that gateway. Joe Rogan actually talks about this. He didn't know what he was doing necessarily, but he says he goes in a float tank and he keeps his cell phone in there so he can just yell at Siri to write down an idea when he's working on material. So he dives into his subconscious. Then when he has an idea, he's like, hey, Siri, take a note, and then so he can actually be in a float tank and wet and do it at the same time. It's pretty sick. If you guys aren't doing this, you're missing out. If you tried to explain 20-something Jay to do this, I would literally laugh in your face. I would literally laugh in your face. Like, it takes a lot for you to like overcome those mental blocks. Gotta love Ray Dalio, dude. His book is like blowing my mind right now. He talks about a lot about this.
Yeah, what kind of systems does he got?
Here's a great system. He talks about how everyone has blind spots. You know, we touched on this before.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm saying this to you, people that are listening, they're gonna be like, I don't have blind spots. You know what I mean? Like and guess what? That's a blind spot. You know what I mean? Everybody has them. Think about it. If you didn't have any blind spots, you would literally have everything that you've ever imagined in the entire world. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? Think about it. Of course you do.
One of my
You'd have it all figured out.
My call at 1 p.m. or 2 p.m., so about an hour ago, was with she's like a mindset coach that specifically helps you to find blind spots. So it was like,
that's
like a 30-minute session. And you like,
first of all,
like found a blind spot of mine that I was like, oh wow, that's a great.
Can you connect me? That's amazing, and I would love to do this for sure.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I'd love to dive into like counseling, even though I don't think I need it. But how do you really know? You know what I mean? Like, of course you do. You know what I mean? Like everyone it's like, I feel like everyone can benefit from counseling. That's what everyone says. All the smart people say that anyway. They're like, even if you don't think you need counseling, go talk to somebody, because you need somebody with an opinion that's just completely unattached from your life, you know, to give you a perspective, because you're so wrapped up in your own narrative. Oh man. And that's
I'll connect you guys
for sure. Yeah, 100%. That sounds awesome.
Like weird random questions, but like she kind of tied it all together at the end, like right at the last. It's a 30-minute session. I didn't think I would have a breakthrough in 30 minutes, but yeah, it was.
You did? You had a breakthrough in 30 minutes?
But like, so it kind of summed up with that. I'm always looking for some sort of external support system, but not like a support system, like a neutral, like, oh yeah, like you're happy doing that, continue doing that. But I need more of a powerful, like almost encouraging, productive, like cheerleader type of support system. Cool. And she kind of just said to like start keeping track of when I need that, and see if I can be that support system for myself. So I guess that would tie in, for example, like if I needed to get something done for my business, then I should try to do it as quickly and as effectively and like as awesome as possible to impress myself, and use myself as a support system. So
that's pretty cool.
I like that.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, I gotta imagine that would.
Sure, there's other blind spots, but that was
pretty awesome results. Cool. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of power in stuff like that, where the reinforcing is something. I'm not gonna do a good job of explaining it, but I can give you an example. Like Tom Bilyeu said, he used to identify with himself as someone who is smart and right and like all these things. So when he encountered someone that was so much smarter than him and way more righter than him, that he would go into he would recede, right, in his confidence and self-esteem, because that's how he identified as a person, right? So he had to radically shift his identity to something else. And what he did was, he says he identifies now as someone who is a learner, because it's something that's reinforcing. Right? It's something, if somebody attacks you for you don't know something, you're like, thank you. Oh my God. Great. You know what I mean? It's now like, you just made me, now I'm even smart. So it's like, bring it. So it's something that like stacks on top of itself rather than recedes. It's invincible, right? It's an invincible identity as a learner. I'm like, oh my God, that's so good. And so then his confidence just built from there. Did you know Tom Bilyeu, his SAT score is 990? Like, okay, let's just
not good.
Let's soak that in for a second. 990. He also says that he said two things that blew me away. He's an amazing speaker. Yeah. Two things that stood out for me is, he said at one point in his life, I think it was something like 10 or 15 years ago, the only responsibility that he had in the entire world, the only reason he had to get out of bed was to make his wife a sandwich by the time she got home for lunch. The only thing that he had to do, and the only thing that got him out of bed, was shame. You know, now the guy's worth $100 million or something like that, like just stone. And he could have bought an island, retired, but now he's instead just like motivating people because it's what drives him. God damn it, I love that guy.
Yeah, it's a great story. He was like, I would just be in bed for 4 or 5 hours, just depressed, and like I'd get up 5 or 10 minutes and rush to make this sandwich so that my wife didn't think I was a complete, Yeah. Moron. And it's kind of saved his life when she started telling him, like, it's important that you get up and put clothes on and take a shower. And
yeah, that's pretty inspiring. Speaking of Tom Bilyeu, have you guys looked at the impact theory 25 beliefs, the 25 points for the belief system?
Oh, no.
Have you looked at this? Oh man, no, we're pulling this up right now because this needs to be something that needs to be talked about.
25 beliefs.
Hold on, I'm going to share my screen.
Like it.
Okay, impact theory belief system in 25 bullet points. Let's just go through these for the listeners there, because you guys, if you're not paying attention, you should be. This could change your life.
I'm all about number 1. The human potential is nearly limitless.
Limitless. The only limits are physics. Let's just get that straight right now. You know, when I think about that, that's really interesting. You think about Star Trek like 30 years ago when they just had like a watch, blah, 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 blah. And everyone was like, that's not possible. And now it's like, hey, Corey, wait, it just formed in reality, the Apple iWatch. I think about stuff like that all the time. We imagine it and then we slowly just kind of make it happen, right? It's all about that visualization. Right. Okay, number 2, Corey, we want to take turns reading these?
Well, personal growth is the highest priority of impactivists.
Which it should be, because your personal growth literally determines your success. And I'm not just talking about monetary success. It's like just in every area of your life. You know what I mean?
Right.
Number 3, you can acquire new skills in any area at any time. It's true.
Definitely.
There's a lot of interesting ways to look at that.
To do that.
Yeah. Number 4, it requires focus, discipline, practice to acquire new skills. True. I think it requires getting it on your schedule. I feel like if you block off an hour a day to do something, and over time, guess what happens? You just become good at it. Denzel Washington. You get good at whatever you practice. That's what he says. You get good at whatever you practice. It's true.
Got to have that discipline.
All right, number 5. Somebody read that bad boy.
So you can do anything you set your mind to without limitation. Yep. Again, limitless.
Oh, but number 6.
Number 5 is a lie, but it's an empowering lie. Impactivists do and believe that which empowers us.
Which is interesting. It's almost like it's an advantage to brainwash yourself.
Right. Just believe you.
If you believe it,
just do it.
I think about the power of placebo all the time. It's pretty nutty. Number 7, it doesn't matter who you are today. It only matters who you want to become and how hard you're willing to work to become that person. That is 100% true.
That was one he touched on several times in that talk.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
It's like the best day to grow a tree is today. The best day to grow a tree is today.
Absolutely. Number 8.
Number 8, see beyond your current self to the opportunity of becoming the best version of yourself.
I think that's important, right? Because when I look at my vision board, I see the kind of person that I need to be to have like all these things and to be interacting with that. And then my brain just starts like, and I feel like when they talk about reprogramming your subconscious, if I tried to Thinkitate even a couple weeks ago, right? What would have surfaced from my subconscious were things that were totally different, things that didn't really help my life, right? Mm-hmm. But now it feels like when I'm Thinkitation, my subconscious is bringing up all these things now from like from all the visualization, the affirmations, and the gratitude. It's just things that are going to help me, which is really cool. Like it really feels like I'm reprogramming my subconscious, and I wish I could beat this into some people, because like I have some close friends that I wish like if they really took this like deep into their heart, that it would completely transform their lives. And that's really why I want to get good at like coaching and speaking, because I want to be able to help people that way. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like get them to do a vision board.
That's what, dude, that's like such a small part of it, but yes, 100%, dude. What number are we
people
on?
Don't even believe in
number 9.
Yes. Which is crazy because vision boards are legit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
They're super legit. I don't even, it's like, I don't even understand how it works, but like, if you like really sit there and like look at your vision board and then really put yourself and like really tie emotion into the visualizations and like the detail, your brain doesn't know the difference between your imagination and reality. So you're slowly becoming that person. It's really interesting stuff.
Just programming the GPS to get to those points in your life.
Oh, boom.
Reticular activating system.
That's it.
Yeah, there we go.
What
Number
are we on?
9, the impact theory community is a safe place to make mistakes.
Which is totally fine. I love making mistakes. I feel like that's
how
like
you learn.
It's not my superpower, dude. When I feel like growing up, I would just get good at everything because I wasn't afraid to just look like a total noob. You know, like I'm like, I would just dive into it and just like embarrass myself, ask as many questions as possible. I would look like a retard, but it didn't matter because guess what? The people that didn't ask questions and weren't able to like be vulnerable, I surpassed them so quickly that it just didn't even matter. Who cares about the temporary? You know what I mean?
Right.
Yep. It's just like the tree thing. Best time to fail right now.
Yes.
So that way,
first to fail, first to succeed.
First
for
to
sure.
succeed. Yeah, absolutely.
And then number 10, similar to mistakes. Mistakes are a great teacher to those who are willing to admit that they've made one.
For sure. Like I know some people that will never admit they made a mistake and will never apologize for it in like any way. And then I just see them stuck.
It's dangerous.
And if they're older, you know, it's just like, I don't even know how to help them. I don't even know what's possible, you know?
You just look at them and say like, oh, your world's so small. I'm going to be over here on the outside of your little bubble. Yeah. And I'm going to keep going like this. And you're going to be trapped in your little bubble.
And like, I really wonder what happens to get people in that mindset. Are they just like,
ego?
It's gotta be just ego, you know, ego and like, yeah, it's ego.
Yep. It's their ability to not be able to remove the ego from the situation. Like
I have a
Ray
book
Dalio talks about that.
I read that book, Stillness is the Key by Ryan Holiday. He has another book called Ego is the Enemy. Mm-hmm. I hear it's amazing. I really want to read it. I've had my subconscious tell me things like sometimes ego is super useful, like for sales, you know?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Can be confident boosting. And...
Yeah. So like, but I need to read the book before I start making any judgments on that. What number are we on?
11. Share the lessons learned from your mistakes with your fellow impactivists.
That definitely helps.
Yeah, sharing the mistakes. Oh yeah, getting that different lens to view it and see, oh, well, hey, you know, if it were me, I would have come at it from this angle. And it might be a blind spot.
Refines the circuits for yourself. You know, the more you share it, the more it gets engraved into your mind.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Number 12, I'll definitely take this one. Failure is temporary. Move quickly beyond it. If I learned anything from playing professional poker for a decade, it is that if I fail at something, whether it was luck or my own fault, whatever it is, I move very quickly past it because I didn't have a choice for a long time. Like if I lost a $60,000 pot, guess what? You can't just go fire off the rest. You know what I mean? It's like every decision you make after that has got to be on point, and you have to just forget about it. Take what you learned from it and move on. That's probably the number one thing I've learned from poker.
Yeah, it's a great lesson. It reminds me of I was just watching this Arnold Schwarzenegger video. He talks about that as well. You know, the faster you get up after you fail, you know, that's what defines the true winners versus the losers. The losers will fail and stay on the ground. So the winners get right back up.
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah,
there ain't nothing wrong with going down. It's staying down that's wrong. Love that one. 13. Somebody?
Everyone has something to teach you. Learn from whomever you can.
That's a great one. I didn't know anything about that. Like when I was like younger, I was like, oh, they don't know anything. Like I don't even need to like talk to that person. But now when you even talk to anybody, like they're good at something and they can teach you something about the world. You know,
people, and I've learned a lot of lessons from them.
Yeah, for sure.
Mechanics. Yeah, you never know. What you learn.
I like 14.
Impactivists do not make excuses ever. Yeah.
I feel like that ties back to Ray Dalio because how do you really know, like, if you're making an excuse to yourself, right? It's hard. You've got to get some other smart people with a similar trajectory to kind of like give you that to you. That's why it's vital to have I feel like a mastermind to really talk about stuff. Mm-hmm. Any obstacle can be overcome. That's true. But I think, but to go with David Bayer on this one, you can only overcome obstacles from a powerful state of mind, right? So it's important, like whenever you're down, whenever
you're suffering, you're going to look at that obstacle as like an insurpassable mountain.
I'll never get over this. I know, which is so pathetic and
you
sad.
don't try, and then, yeah, it's really sad.
I actually had that in my daily reminders at David Bayer. He talks about there's in life that, believe it or not, there is only one moment of transformation. And that is, that's the one thing I took away from him, is that moment is when you start feeling yourself going towards something negative, something stressful, something that's not good for your life, and you immediately identify it and then switch it around. I've been doing it nonstop the last couple of weeks, and I have so much fucking passion, energy, like focus. I'm efficient, and it literally comes to every single day. It's from all these different things that we're doing, like meditating, all these things. But now it's like whenever I start to have a negative state of mind, I want to think something negative about somebody else, want to say something negative, I just nope. Back to the focus, back to the goodie, keep climbing. You know what I mean?
Right. It's like what is David Bayer always says, like the problem is not the problem. The problem is you're thinking about things that you think are the problem.
Yeah.
Which reminds me of the Jack Sparrow quote, you know, the problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem.
So true. So true. 16.
Building your self-esteem around being right all the time will lead to poor decision-making. Yes, you definitely have to sacrifice that self-serving ego of wanting to be right all the time.
I've learned this a lot in my relationship. Like, do you have to be right all the time about dumb little things? No, pick your battles. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? Like, it doesn't matter who fucking washed dishes more. Like, it doesn't matter about any of that stuff. You're right. You know what I mean? Like, is that really worth your like happiness and like that powerful mindset? No.
Just let it go.
Build your self-esteem around identifying the right answer and pursuing it faster than anyone else. This is Ray Dalio all day. You know, just find the truth, you know, having like logical, calm disagreements with people and like trying to play with two ideas and really asking questions and empathetically trying to look at it from their side is the only way you really learn something, rather than just folding your arms and saying, no, you know.
18 have very clear goals.
Yeah. Corey, what are your goals right now? What are your top 5 goals?
Top 5 goals probably be execute the birth of my first child as flawlessly as possible. Make sure that, you know, Shauna is comfortable and has everything she needs, that she's set up for that.
It's a good goal.
Good goal. And then, you know, kind of as soon as the child comes, to spend the maximum amount of time just focusing on the growth and development of like the early child's brain. I just am a big proponent of, and it's because I've seen it recently with my friends that have kids. So a couple of my friends adopt this baby girl. They get her when she's like, you know, a few days old. One of the guy's cousin has a kid, like they're a month apart. These two guys are very smart, took a lot of time, have read to her a ton. I can tell that she is probably a little over 1 million words ahead of the other child. And it looks like they're years apart, like a full year apart.
Yeah.
And it's because the other lady who had the child, the father's not really in the life. She's busy. It's like, it's so important to constantly be just bombarding that brain with as much stimulus as possible.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I just think I'm just going to read 20 something books a day, just constantly be developing the vocabulary.
Yeah. That's what my sister does to her like 4-year-old.
Oh, and stone genius. I bet that kid is just running circles around the kids. It's, you know,
I see like 5 and 6-year-olds and they're like savages. You know, this kid looks like this kid acts like they could just like come with me to like a formal event because they're so like well
like we could bring him to like a 7-figure agency thing and he would sit there and be like, oh great, okay.
Yeah, no,
take notes and stuff.
She's awesome.
Corey,
let me ask you, are you diving in? My sister read a lot of parenting books. Corey, are you diving into? Have you looked at any parenting books?
So I just ordered literally yesterday, What to Expect When Expecting. I hear that's a pretty good like kind of catch-all. There's some things that you like. I don't know about that one, but this is a gem, clearly. So got to do a little more research on that, but I figured that's a good place to start. My therapist has recommended that book for me as well.
Yeah.
So as soon as that comes, I think it's going to get here like on Monday. I will try to read that probably as fast as I can. and that so I can get on to the next book. And then they recommend going to the classes a little bit later, kind of maybe 1 to 2 months right before the baby gets there, just so it's like really fresh in your mind. They don't want you to go to it now, learn it all, and then forget it when baby's here.
Sense.
So they want you to do it pretty close to when, before you're going to deliver the child. So
that's good. Do you have any goals outside the baby? Obviously that's a major one. It should take up your top 3 or 4.
The top major ones, I would say the only one that's like kind of outside of baby goal is the big one that's like kind of on the vision board would be to obtain a different property.
Okay. That's a cool one. Like what kind of property? It's like a long-term investment property?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, it would be a legacy property where I've just been looking at this building for the past 4 years, like since it broke ground. It is just going to, I feel, put me, Shauna, and the baby in the best position for success. It is in this little community that is like right by the lake, but it's owned by the majority of the buildings are owned by a specific management company. And there is like a world-class K through 12 school there, super expensive. But I imagine the things that they're learning in that school, if I can get my child there, that will set them up for the most amount of success. That building is just going to be filled with people probably who are, like-minded. If there's any kind of younger people in there, going to be super successful. It's going to be like the environment that I would want, myself to be in, Shauna to be in, my child to be in.
Cool. Love it.
Yeah, it's obviously awesome. Super expensive, but the other thing is like it's just a work of art.
Can we be neighbors or?
We can. There's still a few units left. So it's developed by a lady named Jeannie Gang, and she built Aqua. So you know that building, Jay, the one with the wavy balconies.
Beautiful.
So
beautiful.
She's building this other property called Vista Tower.
I think you may have showed me a couple pictures a while back.
It's the best thing I've seen in a long, long time. It's going to have a timeless look, and then just the level of, build out that they're putting into that building is just top notch.
Hacking your environment too.
Oh yeah.
Being in that place that's optimal.
Yeah.
It's the optimal place.
When I pulled the trigger on the old Tesla, I realized I had this idea. Well, I've never bought like a nice car before. And I had an idea that it would do something to my mindset. And I feel like a lot of people undervalue that because every time I go out and like I see my Tesla, I'm just like, fuck yeah. It just like gives me that fucking boost. You know what I mean? No, I'm dead serious. It gives me energy, confidence. Dude, oh my God, it's so nice. I know it's like so materialistic, but there's so many other advantages. It's also good for the planet. You're like helping people, but God, it just makes me feel so good that it's hard to like want to take that away. I'm like, yeah, I could save $300 a month, whatever,
worth it.
It's
it changes your mood.
It's worth the mental health that you're getting.
First of all, I'm saving the planet. Save the planet. Yeah, but there's nothing that can take away the self-esteem.
You're saving your mind too.
I know. Justin, what are your goals right now?
I'm also looking for a property. So I was kind of, Corey, is that the whole building you're looking for, or just one like condo in there?
That whole building would cost over $1 billion.
So one condo in there.
So one condo in there. That's the goal. Like
that up. I was like,
from floors 71 through 96, they're full floor penthouses, and they start at 10 million. So it gets a little wild in there for sure. So I'm just looking for a condo in there. It's also part of this master planned community though, where there's a 6-acre park in the middle of all of these buildings. It has a dog park. Like it'll be better for my dog. There's a grocery store, good restaurants. Like the people that are in that park, it's like a mini Central Park. Imagine Central Park and just condensing it into 6 acres and shoving it in downtown Chicago along the river and the lake. I mean, it's the nuts.
That does sound awesome. Yeah. So yeah, for my goals, I'm looking for a new property within 12 months, something, relatively small, but I can still, whether it's a duplex or triplex or 8-10 unit little apartment building, be able to rent out and have that sort of
Passive income.
Yeah, passive income, self-sufficient, mortgage being paid, insurance covered.
It's definitely the way to go.
Yeah, but as far as business right now, I'm actually creating a new offer for biotech companies. So I want to help biotech entrepreneurs who are struggling with securing funding, or taking their ideas from the laboratory into the mass market. So it's kind of a new offer that I'm playing around with, and kind of learning the ins and out of how FDA approval works, and how much all the testing costs, and in what cases do you need FDA approval, and what are all the steps from taking a product into the marketplace. So it's been fun, and I feel like it's more aligned with my passion. I'm still helping with professionals and experts who need LinkedIn marketing and consulting services, but it's just not giving me much fulfillment. So I'm happily switching over to spending a little bit more of my time focusing on the passion projects and things like that.
Cool.
So my goal for at least the next 8 weeks, I want to get the new business from 0 to 12K within the next 8 weeks. So
12K like recurring?
12K recurring, yeah, 12K a month.
Nice.
Well, I guess I'll start with 12K, and then we'll work on the recurring revenue after.
Got it.
I think for right now, just hitting the 12K mark and just total revenue is the goal.
Cool.
I like it.
Cool. Let's not lose track for a second. That was number 18, very clear goals. Let's just finish this really quick. 19, do that which moves you towards your goals. I think that we've covered that. 20, really quick, do not do that which moves you away from your goals, right?
Very important.
Which is a big one,
Yeah, absolutely.
Can't forget about that one. 21, only work in an environment that is moving you towards your goals. Just knock these out really quick. That's a good one. 22, activists are linchpins who work hard, smart, and long hours. 23, passion will help you keep fighting to reach your goals when things get difficult. Centering your life around passion. I like that one.
Yeah.
24, impactivists motivate and inspire those around them. And 25, take the red pill. Now let's think about that for a second. What do you think Tom Bilyeu means by that?
Get out of the matrix. Yeah.
Like, do you think he's talking about?
Be aware.
Do you think he's talking about, because this is what I think, when he says take the red pill, my assumption is what we talked about with alpha and beta states. He's talking about the social matrix, like really succumbing to your nature and nurture and letting everything around you affect you, and your phone, the internet, news, like ascending above that and designing the life that you want. That's what I think he means when he says that. Do you guys have an opinion on it?
Yeah, I think
it's something like that. And then, just be aware. Don't be some sheep who's just like, you know what, I'm going to take the easy road, take the blue pill. I just want to wake up in my bed and, continue to believe what I want to believe. You need to really awaken, and get outside of your comfort zone and what you're, used to, and these habits that you've developed that probably are shaping a lot of the decisions and actions that you're taking without you really even knowing it. He wants you to know what you're doing, know the purpose of why you're doing it, and then only take steps to achieve those goals.
Yeah, it's like the blue pill is like the ignorance pill. It's like the lazy cop out way of getting by in life. When ideally if everybody took the red pill, then the future could be so much brighter. We could all create so many more things more quickly, instead of 90% of the population wasting their time on blue pill activities.
Let's cut back to the podcast here for a second.
Yeah, back home.
Okay. So let's talk about nutrition for a second. I've been trying the Tom Brady diet, and if you're not familiar with what he does, is he kind of approaches it from a very naturalistic point of view. Like, imagine if us three lived in the woods, right? What would our diet be? It would be mostly plants, right? We would fish a lot, eat some fish. Then occasionally we'd kill something like a boar, a deer, whatever, and we'd have some meat, right? It would be like a feast, like a gorging, and we'd, take a big long nap. So I'm kind of trying to base my diet around like what's the most natural and like healthy for my body. So it's I guess, officially pronounced flexitarian but I'm mostly eating I'm eating like mostly vegetables and fruit, 20% fish, and then like occasionally some like light poultry or red meat, very, very, maybe like once, twice, most 3 times a month. So that's what I'm really trying to do for my diet. Make sense?
Do you find the poultry knocks you out as much as like red meat?
Red meat knocks me out much more. Chicken definitely makes me tired. Like it definitely slows me down. Red meat is crazy for sure.
That's the big one. That's the big shock to your system.
Which is really crazy to think about because there was times in my life where I would just grill a steak every day after the gym.
Yeah.
Was I just not functional at the time? Like, I don't understand how I didn't realize how it affected me because it was just my normal, right?
You're on autopilot.
How would you know?
Your monkey brain, you wouldn't know. Your monkey brain is taking over and controlling your limbic system.
That's so crazy. They should
teach spots, man.
I feel like they should teach meditation in school. Like, how's there no is there a meditation class like at UCF? You know, there should be.
There's probably something now in like the health and wellness side where it's like mindfulness. That's probably a class.
They're starting to catch on to it because I remember like I not really snuck into, but I was on at what was it, Chapel Hill, North Carolina. I was helping a buddy of mine with one of his businesses, and I noticed this lecture on entrepreneurship. So I was like, let me just check it out. There's like 300 students. There's no way that they're gonna
take attendance.
Yeah, so it's like this entrepreneurship class, and I sit down in the back, and like the first thing the teacher does is like, all right, guys, like just get in our headspace, and then she just puts on a guided meditation, and everybody's like closing their eyes and just doing some breath work, just for like. Cool. It was like a 2-minute long meditation, but they started the class like that. I'm like, oh wow, that's new. They didn't do this when I was going.
That's how it was when I went to college. Yeah,
sick. That's exactly what the CEO of Mind Valley was touching on in this interview with Tom Bilyeu. He's basically saying like, in 9 years, Ray Kurzweil from Google says in 9 years we're going to have Jarvis in our pocket, right? It's going to be your customized AI that you can call whatever you want. It's going to be able to do anything you want.
On your smartphone.
Yeah.
So really, level of AI.
And careers are really outdated because we have more power in the palm of our hand now than the president did 20 years ago. So really you can do anything that you want, just like some discipline and some persistence, right? So really where is our focus going to go? And it really should be more leaning towards meditation and looking inwards, right? Because to the subconscious and opening up those channels, and it's going to be a much bigger part of our lives going forward. And that's what Mind Valley is all about.
So he's trying to get that system kind of into as many schools as possible where he's like, don't worry about all that other stuff. There's not going to be a point. You're going to know everything in the palm of your hand. So knowing how to be mindful, meditate,
taking care of yourself,
less stress in your life, those skills are how to handle, when you get bombarded with these anxious thoughts and stress in your life, how to handle that and process it and make it through those times in a very peaceful and meaningful manner. That's going to be way more important than you getting an A in your calculus class, because you're not going to need to know that. You're going to be all knowing by the end of this decade, which is super cool to think about.
Devices are crazy, man.
Yeah.
They're like, not only by themselves, but they're just like the power that they have on us, like the control that is around, everybody walks around with this thing in their hand. Like when I was putting mine in the time lock box and
you got anxious, didn't you?
A little mini panic attack and like, oh, what if something goes wrong? Or, like I put it in there with my portable battery because I needed it to charge overnight.
Smart.
And it's like, oh, what if like there's no air getting out, so something pressure builds up and it explodes next to me. Like coming up with all these different reasons.
Excuses of why you don't have to put it in the lockbox. Elon Musk says it's like if you leave your house without it, it's like you left without an arm, right? It's like an extension of yourself.
Feels like I lost a limb. And
no, it's super cool. I love how Elon explains it too. It's like you are already a cyborg. We're already cyborgs, right? It's like imagine if this was just implanted in your brain. The only reason it's, the difference is your input output, because
the time it takes to.
Yeah, because we're really just have to input things with 2 thumbs, and our bandwidth actually went down because now we're down to 2 thumbs rather than all of our hands. And that's why he's creating Neuralink. Yeah.
Can't wait. Hope you get that email soon, Justin, where it's like, congratulations.
Oh, how cool would that be?
Oh yeah.
Come on down to the lab.
we
We're just going to scan your brain to make sure you're a qualified candidate. Justin, you're going to be in the market for a new car anytime soon?
Not really. I'm looking more for a property first, but
yeah, that's the correct 100% correct play.
Yeah, but once I get that, then Tesla. I'm hoping to time my success with the release of the Tesla Roadster, because that would be the best way to.
I like your
going
style.
on the vision board.
You have great taste.
Tesla Roadster has been on my vision board for I don't know, whenever the first mock-up concept design came out.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's so expensive. $250,000 on a car.
Yeah, $250,000, which is like Lamborghini.
It's gonna have rockets on the back, guys. Like
I think that he's doing something where like you press a button and like the rockets like fold out, kind of like a James Bond like MIB type thing. It's gonna be gross. It's gonna
be ready.
The base model is 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds. That's the base model.
That's the base model. And then he was very secretive on the Joe Rogan podcast about like, just wait and see. It'll be worth your time to tune in.
There's gonna be a lot of cool stuff on it.
Yeah.
We gotta hurry up and sell some ESOPs, guys, so we can.
Yes.
I'll be prepared
for sure.
Mm-hmm. Cool. In the meantime, I will start making a list of Neuralink people to message.
I'll tackle. I'll message a bunch of people at Tesla at Fremont.
See if I can try the old boring company. See where we land.
Nice.
All right, man. All right, guys.
Cool. All right. Have a good weekend.
See you on Tuesday.
See you guys next week.
All right. Peace.